Hey, good day, everyone. I have a lot of people still messaging me and Facebook messaging me, texting me, even some emails too. So thanks for all the love. Um, Hold on, good. Obviously, I'm home out of the hospital. I'm with my healer, Calvin the Coonhound. He's hanging with Dad. He's awesome. Anyway, so quick update for everybody is obviously I'm being a freaking bum only because I'm actually required to, and the lung surgery was a success. Uh, they did a VATS, video assisted thoracic surgery. So, besides my prior chest tube, they took out that chest tube in the surgery and then inserted a new chest tube, and then they inserted a video camera, and then whatever devices were used to work on my lung on Wednesday. And let me tell you, that was obviously I'm feeling it now. It's not that enjoyable, but the long story short is here's a little public service announcement. I'm 6'4", and I range between right now I'm like 182, but I would prefer to be between 185 and 195 pounds. So if you're tall and you're lean, like my boy Andy Schreiber on the West Coast, yeah, that's right, Calvin is my healer, man. He's awesome. Anyway, tall, lean athletes like myself, or even leaner, have a higher risk of developing a pneumothorax like I did. So I wanted to make sure that was in today's live video. So obviously the trigger point was over 3 weeks ago for me when I displaced a rib in my back, which I had done when I was wildland firefighting years ago, and luckily never did this kind of problem. But I displaced a rib in my back. It restricted my rib cage from properly flexing, and it triggered me to cough. Well, apparently, if you're a tall, lean athlete, especially endurance trained like me, and you trigger convulsive coughing, you could pop an alveoli or one of your air sacs in your lungs, and then that could manifest as a what's called a bleb, B-L-E-B. And yeah, I know, Andy, you and I talked. This is freaking crazy. And so Andy knows what I'm talking about. I'm 41. He's got me by a few years. So it doesn't matter how old you are. They actually say it happens in younger athletes, even more importantly. At least that's why I'm sharing this video. And anyway, I did develop a bleb, which is basically a blister on the surface of your lung. They usually occur on the top of the lung at the apex. And anyway, if they pop, they release air into your chest cavity, which triggers a collapsed lung. So basically, my lung collapsed itself over the past 3 weeks, and I had no idea. Obviously, I went to the chiropractor. I had them put the rib back into alignment in the cartilage where it belonged, and I just assumed I was going to heal fine. I was doing deep tissue massage. I was doing igloo cryotherapy here locally to help reduce inflammation. I was doing my normal, drinking bone broth to reduce inflammation and promote tissue health because of the natural collagen and rich vitamins and minerals that come from bone broth, from the bone marrow of your bones. I can go on and on. I was doing so much self-care because I know about all this stuff. I just didn't know, per the doctor, that I had already collapsed the lung. And obviously last Friday, well, 2 Fridays ago now, because I was in the hospital for 8 days as of yesterday, they basically confirmed that I had a collapsed lung for 3 weeks. Didn't know because I'm so healthy and fit. My other lung was doing a great job, and that's on past videos. Long story short, not cool. Collapsed it, confirmed it on an x-ray 2 Fridays ago, and that's what rushed me to the ER because it's a life-threatening injury that I had no idea about. Apparently, if your partially collapsed lung fully collapses, you're in a world of shit. And that's why they rushed me to the ER. And then my first experience with my first chest tube, my first hospitalization, the bleb, as I thought I had, the popped blister on my lung that released the air. We were trying to get it to heal on its own the first few days under monitoring and while on the chest tube. Obviously, that didn't happen. And since I'm on a 7-week countdown for my wedding, with my lovely fiance Kristen, where we have to be able to safely get on a plane, not worry about pressure issues, fly to the Alberta province of Canada, and have our heli skiing wedding in Banff. So I said, well, that's top priority. So surgery it was on Wednesday, and they ended up finding multiple blebs on the surface of my lungs, so multiple little blisters or tiny little holes that popped. So they had to basically staple the lung. Sorry, I'm trying to be clean but not gross. They staple the top of your lung, and then they take a slice off. It's like I don't know, exfoliation or whatever, but then that removes any chances of those holes remaining. And then here's the crazy part, guys, which is probably why it hurts still. They scour the whole surface of your lung, and then they scour the entire surface of your chest cavity wall to inflame them, and then when they reinflate the lung, they kind of glue together. They adhere to each other naturally from the skin and the surface area or whatever. So now, permanently, my left lung is adhered to the inside of my chest wall, as crazy as that is. So this is nuts. So, yeah, Jason. So the bleb is basically a blister, and that was triggered from me popping an alveoli, one of my air sacs from within the lungs, and that triggers the air release. If you pop the bleb, the air releases into your chest wall, and you basically, like me, self-collapse your lung. Most pneumothoraxes are trauma-related. I was a spontaneous pneumothorax. I was literally joking around with the doctors and the staff in the ER because I felt great, and they're like, well, normally when we see a 35% collapse, it's usually from broken ribs, car accident, knife wounds, trauma. So good times. So like I said, they released me yesterday. They ripped that god-awful chest tube out. Dude, that is messed up. If anybody's watching this and they've had a chest tube, not a fan. They yanked out over a foot of plastic tubing out of my chest. And that little procedure, it's literally a yank. Not cool at all. So that was my pain yesterday. But I feel better now, obviously, because I don't have a chest tube hanging out of my chest. I just look like a knife wound patient. But part of my little message on this video was also not just recognizing, again, I want to show him again, my healer, Calvin the Coonhound, that my fiance brought to the hospital to help us heal, which they let you do. I had no idea. Excuse me. More fun. They'll let you bring your dogs to the hospital, at least here at St. Luke's, if you have proof of vaccinations, and you get basically have your own therapy dog. So anyway, this past week, I've never been hospitalized in my life, let alone 8 days, never had a chest tube. I mean, I'm a former wildland firefighter. I've skydived. I've raced mountain bikes in the mountains of Colorado. I've done a lot of crazy crap. And so this was a humbling experience. And that's why I wanted to do this video again, just to create awareness around, I can lift my arm now, creating awareness. Thank you, John. I appreciate the welcome back. Create awareness around spontaneous pneumothoraxes, especially in tall, athletic, lean athletes. Again, I'm considered older, at 41 getting it. They usually happen younger, but again, you get sent into convulsive coughing, you could jack your lung up, trigger a bleb. Bleb pops, releases air into your chest cavity, and you just self spontaneously collapsed your lung. Totally messed up. So again, to all of my friends who made time to visit, family who reached out, followers of my podcast, like people just, dude, it's so humbling, man. It's so cool. So I just wanted to share this on a Sunday fun day because I'm bored as hell. I'm not used to laying around on a couch. I mean, it is awesome having our Calvin the Coonhound here laying with me. He knows, dogs are amazing. They know when you're down, they know when you're injured, and they just want you to feel better. So I see my boy Scott Karach is watching. I hope you're at the Hero Wad this morning. I will not be at Hero Wads. That's the other part of this update. For a while I can show up, but part of my recovery is for the next 4 weeks, I'm not allowed to lift any weights. Like, I love kettlebells. I love weight training. I love snatching, clean and jerking. I love CrossFit. And that's a humbling update. I have to focus on cardiovascular training only. I'm not even allowed to use a rowing machine because of the jerking impacts on my rib cage. So this is going to be a very educational experience, as I think all positive and negative things or that happen in our lives is about what you take out of it, guys. Like, I'm Mr. Positive Mindset whenever I can be, and I want to make sure that was in this video too, is that, yeah, this sucks, but you got to take the good out of it. That's something that one of my fellow fire brothers years ago when I was firefighting told me, is I'm putting that in my book too, is, you know, what are you taking the good out of life? I mean, it's easy to take the bad and the negative stuff out of it, but you guys, this is a lesson. You know, take the good out of everything that happens in life. Take the lessons learned, and appreciate those around you, especially when they come to your aid. I'm not used to being on that side. I'm usually the guy trying to help others, and it was cool the past 8 days having people text me, message me, comment on these posts on social media, visit me in the hospital. It's a humbling experience, and it's just nice to know you got people around you, and I think that's something that I've created over the years. So that's a little lesson from this video for you all too, is that you know, help others. I've spent years helping others. I'm not used to needing help myself. So again, a humbling experience, but a lot of gratitude, a lot of thanks, and I'm on the mend and enjoying a lazy home life as much as I can. But don't worry, I got my computer right here. I can't stand cable television. I got to work on editing my new book that I promised to get out this year. I got to release a new podcast tomorrow. There's always something to get done. And anyway, guys, thanks again for following. Feel free to go back and look over the prior posts if you have no idea that I just had lung surgery over the past week. And again, man, rest and recover. Andy, thank you, man. I'm definitely working on resting recovery. And again, shout out to Andy Schreiber of Pure Coffee Club at Vinny Tortorich. I got home and got to unbox some packages, and I found some new coffee mugs that I'm enjoying right now. With, again, this is not a plug. I'm not getting paid for this, guys, but oh my God. Best tasting coffee ever. PureCoffeeClub.com. Check it out. All right, guys. Dave Scow, shout out to some Philly love. It's great to have all these people watching. So, again, feel free to go back and watch the whole video. I give you a few lessons about pneumothoraxes, being tall, lean, athletic. Be aware. If you know anybody, I'm not saying create fear, but just make sure people are educated, and never in a million years would have expected getting this injury, let alone getting a lung surgery. So, wake up call. All right, gang. Enjoy your Sundays. I'm going to hang with Calvin the Coonhound, get a little more screen time here. Yeah, he's my healer. He doesn't do a lot, but I think that's part of the healing process. He's showing me how to relax, since he's only a tripod, since we saved him from cancer around Thanksgiving and had to take one of his legs off. So he knows how to rest and recover. I'm going to emulate him. Enjoy your Sundays. Later, gang. Live the fuel.